Herschel Walker is in CYA mode, but despite the fact that he's admitted to many of the allegations against him that came prior to this, including, I believe, holding a gun against his wife's head and almost killing somebody in a road rage incident.
Like clear brain injury sort of symptoms kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, he's admitted to those things, but I guess this is too close to an election, and abortion is too much of a hot button issue that is galvanizing voters that normally would not be coming out in an off-year election, that he's in deny mode, even though his son is all over social media saying that's definitely my dad's signature and it's definitely him. And also he's done a bunch of other awful things that I'm going to accuse him of. So Herschel Walker's been all over Fox News. He was on Hannity the other night. Now this morning, he's here on he's on Fox and Friends addressing some of these allegations. Here's the first part of that appearance.
So just real quick, this is the card that this woman said that you wrote to her with the check inside to get an abortion. The reason why it's significant is because you're for, you're pro-life. You're for zero weeks when it comes to abortion.
Relax, recover.
And here's the card, and you signed it. You've had a chance to look at this now online and on Sean Hannity's show. Is that you?
That's what I said. I was Sean. That looks like my signature. First of all,
can you pause it?
Just put
Luckily for Herschel Walker, his signature has never been seen on anything before. You know, like football memorabilia, autographs, some players' cards, those kinds of things. I mean, I am amused at in terms of people whose signature is most identifiable, because there's a lot of images and copies of it. There's no one more than the President of the United States or professional athletes like Herschel Walker. So it's just so easily verifiable, unless it's a really, really intricate smear job. But yeah, keep going.
This now online and on Sean Hannity's show. Is that you?
That's what I said. I was Sean. That looks like my signature. First of all, I never just put an H on anything. I never have. And I said, you know how many things I've signed, but I've never signed anything with just an H. And I said, that's why I said, whoever is doing
doubtful.
This,
this type of like circumstantial like line of trying to get out with the detail. It sounds like, what's that British royal who's like, I couldn't have been the like sex
Prince Andrew, because I don't sweat.
I wasn't sweating at the time.
It's like no,
my sweat glands did not work at the time. I was potentially having sex with a 14-year-old.
You don't say, oh yeah, I wasn't sure if I signed this get well post-abortion card until I noticed that it was only signed with an H.
Yeah.
And then it tipped me off like, oh no, this is actually fraudulent. Like, that's not how lies work.
Lies, yeah. I mean, it is just, when you're gonna lie about something, don't pick the most minute detail to really hang your hat on. Because
you're outsmarting yourself when you do that. You think it's super clever, like you've Sherlocked your way into the like a lie truth somehow. But that's like, it's too specific. And
of course, there's tons of evidence of him having the exact same signature out there, by the way. So he just, I mean, man, there's a lot of holes in this cheese.
Also, like, I never sign it with an H unless it's something I'm kind of worried I'm signing, maybe because it might come back in the future. Like, I can see why on certain things you might not sign the full Herschel Walker. Like, for instance, it's a get well soon after an abortion card. You might shorthand that, short arm that one a little bit.
Just H, yeah.
I think H is fine for this document.
Also, it would create some sort of sense of kind of like actual intimacy with your said girlfriend, as opposed to signing it like you're at some sort of auction for your old football memorabilia.
And I said, you know how many things I've signed, but I've never signed anything with just an H. And I said, that's why I said, whoever is doing
that's why I said.
Is, it's not true, it's a lie.
Right.
And right now, that's the reason I said I'm going to fight, because I've been redeemed. That's one thing about it. I've been redeemed. And I'm going to make this statement here. It's like they're trying to bring up my past to hurt me, but they don't know, like, bring up my past only energized me to go out and fight even harder, because I've been to 400 bases to talk about my book. And I'm not trying to sell books here, because I knew the pain it had through mental health. And right now,
And
they're
it's also
trying to
books.
do anything in their power to take this seat, but they're not going to take it from Herschel Walker.
So then this
right
came
now,
out.
I love the Lord Jesus, and I got into this race because of my faith, because I see what's happening.
And you do say in your book, and we did a feature with you for 2 days. In your book, you had mental health problems. You addressed it. You're also an inspiration for that. Here's.
All right.
I'm not trying to sell books.
Well,
It's both Brian Kilmeade and Herschel Walker attempt to continue to sell Herschel Walker's book.
I'm super inspired.
How does redemption work, right? Because usually one has to admit something for there to be redemption. But I am redeemed.
Also, usually redemption
redeemed.
isn't self-ordained. It's
Yeah.
not usually, you don't usually say, "Oh yeah, I Herschel Walker have redeemed."
Well,
who is redeeming him?
Yeah.
God.
I think it's probably God.
That's
It's more
what
like
he
a
means when he says
theocratic
that.
redemption. than a-
Absolutely. He's talking like a born again person.
He's
there.
got the direct line there, but again, he's not. It's hard to say after denying it because the H is there to say that I'm redeemed.
And by the way, you had mental health problems. Like, what's with that transition?
I mean, that's been his. His new tact is that the left is making fun of him for having mental health struggles. Aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, you guys are the ones who can't stop saying that trans people are mentally ill, and that's why there's something wrong with them. That's why they were probably behind some of the school shootings in this country, you psychos.
Yeah.
Like, now we're supposed to have sympathy for Herschel Walker's mental health.
Yes, Brian, that was a forged signature. And also, yes, I was mentally ill, and I've gotten over it. And I guess we're just going to accept that there's a connection. We're just not going to really draw between those two things.
I trust you completely. All right, so then he responded to a question from Kilmeade about what Christian Walker, his obnoxious son, had to say online. And look, it seems like there's a lot of issues within the family. I am sympathetic to that. It's difficult. Herschel Walker seems like he might have been a volatile and difficult parent.
Yeah.
That makes sense. His child is perhaps seeking attention for not having some in
And
his
has gotten it
childhood.
in the wrong places.
Yeah, but at this point, it seems like his father's lies have gone too far. So he's done a complete 180, basically called BS on what Herschel Walker is claiming. And
He said, I mean, explicitly, like, everyone in our family said, don't run because your past's going to get out. They said, oh, we're going to confront our past. And actually, what Christian Walker says is that it's all been lies. Lies the entire time. How dare you lie is what his son said.
I wonder how he got to this place, but we're happy he's here because I'm living for the drums.
How he got to this place is he's developed an online reputation. I don't mean to be so cynical about this, but he's developed a certain online reputation of his own, and he's not going to sacrifice that for his father when his father is caught red-handed like this.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Here's what your son surprised a lot of us because he's had tweeted positive things for you. He's an influencer, a conservative.
Yep.
And this is what he came out and said after this revelation and your appearance with Sean. Listen.
My intention is don't lie about your life at the expense of me, my mom, and all of the people that you've affected throughout your life. You don't get to pretend you're some moral family guy. You don't get to pretend all these things. Talk policy, talk normal,
Talk with your hands.
Lie.
So he saw that and says, you're lying, Herschel. What do you say about your son? Is he telling the truth?
Well, I love my son unconditionally, and that's where I've always been. I always love him unconditionally. You know, he graduated college a couple of months ago. He's now a young man doing his own thing, but his father is always there for him. I always will be for any of my kids, and I love him. I always...
Not what Christian's been saying. He's saying, actually, it's really affected me how much my father hasn't been there. I don't know why they didn't play that clip on Fox News, because that might have also cut into the turnout.
Graduated college a couple of months ago. He's now a young man doing his own thing, but his father is always there for him. I always will be for any of my kids, and I love him. I always support him.
Can you pause it again? Look at how they're playing the same footage of them hugging. It
Clearly
seems
so
like
much
there
to
might
choose
not.
from.
Yeah, there's not a ton available.
The one time.
I'm always there for my son
That
every
one
single
time
day.
in December 2021
Yeah.
at Mar-a-Lago.
Fox News producers just scrambling to find any footage of Christian Walker.
There's
and
only
Herschel
one
Walker
clip?
together. Yeah.
It's like one clip. All right, just run it on a loop. Run it on a
3-second loop. Let's go.
supporting him, and I always will, and I love him unconditionally.
But he's doing tremendous damage to you by coming out with those statements. Do you know why he's saying this?
Because it's true.
Okay, pause it too again. I'm sorry. Like, they are acting, the way that this question is framed is, how could your son do this? As if the son's, it's like how they would talk to if they were on Biden's side, what Hunter Biden's going through, and how are you going to respond to what Hunter has been saying? Like, no, Herschel Walker's son just said, no, Herschel Walker's lying, which is exactly what GOP strategists are openly saying in the media. They've conceded the point. They understand that this is true, and so the only person still denying it is Herschel.
He's like, my first question is, how dare he do this to you? He's like, are you so mad at him?
You can really spot bad parents, and I don't doubt that Kilmeade's one of them, by how they blame their kids for the reactions to their parents' terrible parenting. But, that's just something I think about on occasion. All right, keep going.
Will, and I love him unconditionally.
But he's doing tremendous damage to you by coming out with those statements. Do you know why he's saying this?
Well, the damage he's doing is letting people know that the left will do whatever they can to win this seat. And I told you when I got in this race, I'm going to win this seat. People see someone sitting here in front of you right now that's been redeemed. And I want America to know I'm living proof that you can make mistakes and get up and keep going forward, but you can only do it in this country right here. And you can only do it if we get this election correct this come November. Because we vote for the people on the left, like the guy running against Senator Warnock, you're not going to have a chance to be redeemed. He's a minister and he don't believe in redemption. Right now, they're trying to destroy America. They're trying to destroy Georgia, and I'm not going to let them happen. It ain't going to happen on my watch.
And he went on to tweet.
So that's just some, religious bigotry. Anyway, how did Christian Walker harm his father? By publicly speaking about, and again, not a Christian Walker fan. Difficult for me to sit through any
not
of his
a leftist.
videos.
We need to put this forward because some people who aren't familiar with the whole Christian Walker arc from when he was blaming Joe Biden for gas prices don't know that he's got pretty objectionable politics.
And he also is one of those people, like when he was on Hassan's stream, he with Felix a few months ago, or maybe it was even 6 months ago at this point, he's very clearly like, I don't identify as gay. He was like, I'm sexually attracted to men. I want to but he's like, I don't like being labeled as anything. Like he's pretty firmly agnostic about even claiming his sexuality, which I'm not saying is always a mark of a conservative. I just mean he also uses
would his dad accept
more
him?
Bigoted means or ends as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it may be for the Republican Party bigotry, or might be because he's trying to still impress his dad or not get on the wrong side of his crazy father, who probably wouldn't accept a gay son. I mean, does Herschel Walker seem like the most accepting father?
No, but he has been redeemed. It is interesting for him to just throw in there that the radical left will go so far to undercut his candidacy as to corrupt his son, which is basically what he's saying, right? His son just decided to say what actually has happened to him his entire life, and the kind of parent that Herschel Walker has been, which is evident based on all of the reporting, not the best, and including what he has admitted to in terms of abuse of his family. So, this is not the radical left subverting Christian. I guess probably was Christian out in LA now, so maybe he's a prime target, and that's what he's trying to imply.
What happened
but he's throwing his son under the bus there.
What happened is the right, including Glenn Greenwald, who tweeted about Christian Walker months ago about how he's going to be a thorn in the liberal side for so long because he's black and gay. Everybody who gave him attention, and I'm proud of myself, frankly, for saying this on the very first clip we played about Christian Walker. Everyone drawing more attention to him because they wanted to win the Senate seat for Republicans in Georgia did a real disservice to the kid. He was, I think, clearly just trying to forge a relationship with his father, and that fact was exploited. And look, his politics suck, but he's a dumb rich kid.
Yeah.
That was exploited by the Republicans and people like Greenwald, who thought oh, here we go. Here we got somebody who can, troll liberals. And it put this, here's the tweet.
Herschel Walker's son, Christian, is black, gay, young, very smart. You know when you use very twice, he's a writer, I've heard.
Settle down.
Very smart and very independent-minded, and he's going to be driving liberals absolutely crazy for a long time to come. Because, like,
For a very long time to come. There's
oh, he
three
said very
varies.
again. Oh man, my mind rejected that third very. But man, I mean, for a guy that rails against identity politics constantly, it seems like as soon as there's an opportunity to use someone as a human prop,
Yeah.
they jump at that opportunity,
Like
even
woman
though
President Georgia Maloney,
yeah, I mean, girl boss.
like Queen Georgia, AWE in Georgia.
It just is. Wait, salsa dipped cracker writes in. I met Christian at a dispensary here in Englewood a few months back. Right, tell us about it. Well, but at the same time, now I'm feeling badly because it seems like there's a lot of issues in the family and like
Look,
being a TikTok star, advocating aggressively on behalf of your father and vocally so is a way to get approval.
It was, and like I don't really, I don't think it's, I don't feel too bad about counter propagandizing against him as a right wing sort of speech guy, which is or a propagandist, which is what Christian Walker's been serving as. But I do think like I will take a moment to say it is sad that clearly, like when he's talking about I was silent, I didn't say anything. Who's he? He's not talking to us. He's talking to his dad.
Yeah.
He's like, I could have blown this up for you and I didn't. And now it's blown up and I'm here looking stupid. That's really where we're at with that.
Bingo dango. Christian Walker is also horribly transphobic. Hassan owned him by proving that some trans bathroom story Walker was peddling was made up, and Christian was basically like, whatever, still think it might be true. We both have our own facts. Yeah, I mean,
He doesn't care. He was doing it for his dad. And
Yeah.
he's doing it because he has a hole in his soul and he's trying to fill it.
and you can it also makes sense for him to immediately flip on the other side like that, because when you're searching for approval, you can it's such an inherently emotional enterprise that's why a flip like that can happen.
Yeah, it's not what it's about.
Yeah. Illuminati kids. Protestant Christianity, especially evangelical sects, require no admissions for sins or redemption and only consider one's personal relationship with Christ. Free pass for anything you allow yourself, basically.